Hi all. Right, welcome to Skies Above Britain. This game is designed by Jerry White and Gina Willis and published by GMT Games. And I got this game around Christmas, I think, for my Christmas, and that's us into July now. So it's been sitting about for a while. Um, it, it's been a struggle understanding everything about this game. And I was off this weekend. My plan to start doing a recording, doing a playthrough of this game. This is now Saturday late afternoon, and I've just been struggling to get up to where I feel comfortable with starting to play it and record it. Obviously, been messing about with all the little scenarios at the beginning, but I'm probably not quite ready to start this yet. But I'm kind of wanting to get going with the game. And again, you might say, well, why not just play it through off camera and that? And if any of you watched my previous stuff, you might have heard me going on quite a bit about I find that I stick with the game more if I start playing a recording of it, and I don't know, it feels more enjoyable. I get a bit more out of it. I have to stick with it and feel like I need to play it to the end. However, right, you start the campaign in this game, and there's 4 different chapters. So, I mean, I'd like to start off and say let's play the whole shebang or whatever. Let's play the whole 4 chapters. I don't think I'm going to do that because I think I'm going to get some things wrong, and I think it might be better to just play the first chapter and maybe not even. Well, the first chapter says it's 6 patrols. I dare say I could probably get through that. I mean, my videos are going to take ages anyway. Now, there's lots of other videos out there in this game as well, which was another reason that I think, well, do I really need to record it? But thing is, I want to play the game too. I want to play it. So, and like I've said, by recording it, it helps me to play the game. So, I know there's loads of other video footage out there. I've been watching lots of it myself. I tagged on to Tim Phelps' playthrough of it. He's very thorough. His videos are somewhat longer than some of mine actually, but then I think he just doesn't, he doesn't cut it after. I like to keep mine to around about an hour and whatever, whereas he just carries on to get right through the mission or whatever, the patrol that he's on or whatever. But his stuff's very thorough, and he seems to have a good grasp of the rules, which I always like. I always like somebody that takes care of the rules and whatever. Yeah, I've been watching through some of that, and I'm not going to show you any of these little starting scenarios, but he goes through every one of them. So I think there's probably 2 or 3 other guys that maybe do that as well. So you've got the dogfight scenarios, you've got the bomber scenarios, and then you've got a couple of, intercept scenarios, is it? Intercept scenarios at the end. So they're all worthwhile. I mean, you need to know how to do these things, and you need to. I mean, they're some of them are quite reasonably simple, and I think I've got the dogfight and the bomber stuff, and the intercept bit is sinking in a little bit, but the whole thing put together, and this map, using the full thing with a map, it's kind of scares me. I don't feel like I'm there yet to be able to do this, but I'm doing it because I'm wanting to get. Like I say, I've got the rest of the weekend off. I want to get started. The last 2 days I've just messed about, looking at video, reading through. I've read through the rules at least once, going through other bits of the rules. Let's say watching videos, playing all the little scenarios, messing about with that, and I'm thinking, right, I just want to get started. I just want to get started and play it. But it was fun. It was quite fun. The later on scenarios, the intercept ones, they're actually quite fun, and they take a bit of time to get through themselves if you play them through to the end. So they're worthy of it. But I think I want to say Tim he does the intercept ones as well. So he's got a video playthrough of both of them, and they do take quite a while. Okay, so yeah, I just want to get started and play the game. So yes, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I've got it set up. I'm just going to do chapter 1, skirmishing over the channel. Now, I'm not going to go through every rule, but I mean, I find that I say that, and then I have to look at the rules for myself, and more so with a lot of the stuff in this game, because I don't feel, well, I don't feel comfortable about fully understanding the rules. I feel like I'm repeating myself here, because I think the last load of games that I've played have all been the first time that I've played them and whatever, and it seems to be the norm. I always remember, I maybe told this story before, I always remember the first time I started off that I was maybe not criticising, but saying that, you know, it'd be better if people played the game a couple of times before they started making a recording of it, and I'm just a big hypocrite, because that's what I do now all the time. But it's because, I suppose, I mean, that was when I first made my first video recording, and obviously I'd played the game that I'd done the recording of, so I could say it then. But now, as new games keep coming in, as you know, in this hobby, you keep buying new things, and you know, you don't get the chance to. And I've found out, again, this probably a get out for me is, and I've found out that by recording it, it helps me play the game and understand the game. So yeah, I dare say I'll be referring to the rules a lot. So we're going to play chapter 1, skirmishing over the channel. So I was just setting things up here. So this is quite a huge game, actually. I didn't realise it was so big. It takes up a lot of space. Now you might say, well, that map's not that big, and it's not. And you've got that little bit up there, and it's not that big. You've got all these sets of cards. So there's lots of cards, but there's space for them. That's not that big. There's counters over there in the little trays, and some of the other aircraft over there, and I've got some hit markers and things like that. And these are over the back there are the bomber tiles, and you've got there's 2 or 3 areas that you create just on your table to do this, and it's these rules and these games. I think I commented before about, I've got another Jerry White game, Atlantic Chase. It's quite different, and this is the same. It's quite different. It's it's a bit weird. I find it a bit strange, but in a good way, you know. Well, I'm hoping it's going to be in a good way. I've enjoyed what I've seen up to now. I was struggling with some bits, and then it started sinking in, and then I thought, yeah, this looks decent. So these bomber tiles are going to go in here. So most of the actions is going to happen on my table here, and then you can have dogfights that can happen elsewhere. Now you're also meant to create a lost contact area. There is a little tiny area here on this map here, but you're more than likely going to have more aircraft going lost contact and be able to sit in that little box. So I don't know what I'll do. I'll maybe think I'll just create an area up at the side there, and what I'll do, I think, rather than put counters on the wall, I'll just mark a lost contact there, and then anything that's up there is going to be lost contact, and we'll find out what that kind of means. That was I find that a bit complicated, the lost contact bit, but I've started understanding what it's all about now. So it takes up about, this isn't my bigger table's across there. It's still got another game set up. So this was the best place to put it, but I didn't think I was going to have issues. I don't think I've got issues, but it does take up some space. So right, let's just start. Oh, that was another thing as well. And I was about to, my plan was to do, now I only just started watching Tim's chapter 1 patrol 1 of his campaign, and he uses, I think, most of these optional rules as well. I think the one he skips is the weave, he says. I think he's got most of these in as well, and I was going to do this as well, and I was going to even include that weave. He did say he thought it was a bit more complex than need be, and then I thought, what are you doing, Grant? You've not really played this game. I get a feeling he's had a shot of the game, and has a better idea of things. So let's not play with these just now, and let's just try chapter 1 and if I enjoy the game enough to like play it again, I can come back and start again and do another playthrough and bring these into it, because then I'll have a more understanding of the normal rules before adding more rules. You know what I mean? Why, you know, you shouldn't really do that the first time you're playing it, really. Yeah, I guess I was just trying to make it a little different for people to watch. But like I say, that Tim Phelps, he's playing that patrol, that campaign with every one of the rules, I think, apart from the Weave one. So yeah, I mean, have a look at that if you want to see how all that stuff works. Okay, so chapter 1, skirmishing over the channel. Here we go. Right, let's get a bit of introduction and get it set up anyway. Yeah, I mean, I'm 11 minutes in here, and I try to keep my videos to around about the hour mark, but I talk a lot. Yeah, I should have had a warning at first. Anybody, maybe you're coming to watch the video playthrough of this game because you like the game, not because you've watched some of my stuff before. But my videos are very long-winded and drawn out, and I probably go on a bit much, and they're not for everybody. My priority is to get all the my priority is to have fun. The bit closely behind that is to not make mistakes. I try my best to do everything in the rules. Now, it's probably impossible for any of us out there to do everything and not miss a rule. But I try to limit that as much as I can, and if anything does get picked up as an error, then I will try and fix it to the best I can. Sometimes they're unfixable, and you've just got to at least take note and mention it, that was a mistake. I guess, and that's a reason I think maybe just to play this a little bit, and who knows, I might not even get through doing 6 patrols in this. I might actually just do 1 patrol and then say, right, I feel better now, I'm going to restart this, I've understood some things. Also, strategies in this, I have no idea. Again, that's because I've not played the game yet, and you're going to learn. I mean, you know, do I want to come in from the port or from the tail, starboard? Do I want to be high? Do I want to be low? You guys that have played the game will probably have, you know, be able to say, well, yeah, you want to do that. So, but some of the things you can look at to say, well, if I come in from the starboard, that's going to apply, or I need to roll such and such on a dice. So, but yeah, these things you're just going to learn by playing the game a bit. Eh? So it might be that I don't go through the whole 6 patrols, and this just ends up being a sort of training part. I don't know how I'm going to title my video for it, so we'll see. But let's just get started anyway. Right, so chapter 1, skirmishing over the Channel. Channel War, 10th of July to 10th of August 1940. France is still falling, but already that fight spills over into the stretch of sea between Britain and the continent. Convoys ply along Britain's coast into ports elsewhere, and the Luftwaffe's opening moves target those ships and perhaps the ports in easy reach of its air assets newly stationed in France. Or will they launch a raid deep into England? Question mark. Right, so chapter length is 6 patrols. Just zoom in there a little bit. So raid vector markers. Now, brilliant rule book. Really good. And like I say, it starts with... And by the way, sorry, this isn't the rule book. This is the situation manual. Which has all the things that I was just telling you. It's got all the dogfight scenarios, bomber scenarios, intercept scenarios, and there's an example of the patrol, which I looked over. And then you've got the 4 campaigns, and that's the first one we're looking at. So this is the situation manual. Where is the rulebook? Let's see here. So we've got the rulebook as well, which is, you know, yeah, they're big books, 62 pages. And then we've got that optional stuff as well. You've got a lot of charts, pilot rosters and things like that. Anyway, these blue numbers are all the page numbers. So that's page 42. So if we look up page 42, we will see talk of raid what was it? Raid vector markers. So it talks about the raid track here and things like that. These are the sort of bits that I'm a little scared about. But that's the other thing. I also printed out the sequence of play cards. I believe these were done by Gina Wallace, who was the co-designer of the game. They're based on the Stuka Joe. I think was it the RAF ones that he'd done originally. I think he's maybe done more than one set of these cards, and they're just sequence of play cards. I've got a newer printer than I had before, but I still got some banding coming through. But to be honest, they came out alright, and they're okay, you know. They're not brilliant, but they'll do the job. So these are raid vector sequence and interception sequence. Am I zoomed out? I better zoom in out, Grant. And then there's a RTB sequence, and then also you've got the bomber cycle cards that you can go through, and the dogfight cycle cards. So I've got these separate at the side because we'll be using them. We'll be using them. I'm going to go through them. I might start just flipping cards over and say, right, move on to that. I should probably pay more attention to what's on the card right now while I'm still trying to learn the game. But we'll see how we go. And then eventually, once you get into the dogfights and the dogfight cycle and the bomber cycle, you can probably just skim through them quickly, and you start understanding what's going to happen there. You know? So I've got them to help me out as well. So hopefully that'll make the job easier. Right, so chapter 11, 6 patrols. So this is we're going to do the first patrol. Raid vector markers. Randomly draw raid vector markers and place them on the track as shown. Don't place outbound markers yet. So it shows them there. You put 1 there, 2 there, 2 there, 4 there, and 2 there. And I noticed there was 2 or 3 left over, I think. So I assume, or maybe 4 actually. I assume there meant to be some left over. So that's them there. 1, 1, 2, 2, 4, 2. So I've just put them on. And I thought, well, we'll leave that and I'll do the rest of the setup, because the rest of the setup involves rolling a dice. Now, I still don't have any fancy dice tray. I noticed Tim was using a dice tower. I mean, he had a nice looking little dice tower, and I think I probably should get something like that. But mind you, it's a bit more clunky to sort of bring in and take away and whatever. I suppose my little tray is a wee bit less hassle that way, but I think a lot of die rolls I might just do off camera. I'm not going to fudge the dice rolls, you know. I think any that matter, like for hit checks and things like that, I'll show on camera. But there might be some that randomly select something, you know. I can do that off camera and then just tell you what the roll was. But I think for this one, so we've got this is to tell us where we're going to start here, either deep, middle or coast. Now, I have no idea what one's better than the other here. I think, like I say, I did start watching Tim's very first patrol one, chapter 1, and I think he ended up with coast, and he seemed to think that was a good thing. Although the coast one means you spend three fuel right away, but there must be benefits to it, obviously, if you're having to do that. So, right, we've done that. So squadron formation marker, and that's what this is. And these are all the games, all the aircraft and that are on nice little blocks. You've got to put stickers on them. First time I've ever done stickered blocks. It was alright. It was easy enough. It was quite enjoyable, I thought. It's okay. I mean, there's 2 or 3 that I maybe got slightly off centre. Well, I say 2 or 3, probably more than that. And I was a wee bit annoyed about, but then I thought, it's not a big deal. It's not grand. Okay, so we're going to roll. So roll a die, place the squadron in the zone indicated at low altitude. If you roll 8 or higher, each section spends 3 fuel. That's the coast one. It says if this is your result, your squadron has been on patrol over the channel for some time, so that's why it's spent the fuel. So let's just roll the die for that then. Let me get an 8. Okay, right. Well, fair enough. That's what it is. So we are going to be over the coast. So that goes there, and then we're going to knock our fuel down by 3. Now, did it tell me where the fuel, or does the fuel? Actually, no. I maybe got the fuel markers in the wrong box. I think because I was messing about with some of their scenarios, they were starting along here. But yeah, that's the other thing. We have to use either Hurricanes or Spitfires, and I was going to use Spitfires, but the previous scenario that I had set up and I was mucking about with had Hurricanes, so I thought it was it was easier just to leave them as they were, because I'd only just set them up and I was looking through the book, and I hadn't moved in and about or anything like that. So I think there'd been a couple of lost contact markers or something like that. So I've stuck with Hurricanes, but I see up here Hurricane Full is there. So is that where we should start then? I assume it must be. Yeah, I can't really find any reference to that, strangely, but yeah, the previous missions that I tried, the fuel started along here, but they've maybe been doing stuff. But that says Full Hurricanes is that's where that should be for Full Hurricanes. I did come across a little bit in the rule book. That's just on page what is it, 47, and this is when the green leader here is resetting. It says, meanwhile, the section's fuel cube is reset to the full space on the fuel track. This example of patrol had ended. Yeah, so it goes back to Spitfire fuel, because these are Spitfires, obviously. So that must be where they start, right? I didn't really see anything, but there doesn't seem to be anything in the sort of setup. However, although that's where we start, remember we've rolled that 8, so we're going to spend 3 fuel. So 1, 2, 3. So that's where we are now. Okay. Right, and then 20 pilots. Again, there's the rules reference, which is great. I love the way they do these things now. And, you know, just look at that page. If you want to know more about it, go to that page. You start the campaign with 20 pilots. You may field 12 fighters each patrol, so only 12 pilots may fly each time. If starting a campaign, roll a die and apply the result on the pilot assignment table. It tells you the distribution of experience your squadron starts the campaign with. If garnered, an ace skill may be assigned to any pilot. So I'm going to say we're starting a campaign, but I might bail out and we might just do, you know, a patrol. I think I could just do that. I could just do the one patrol. And if things are a bit of a mess, then it's let me have the shot of the game, you know, and then I can mark the video as a sort of some kind of, you know, maybe change the title of it into some kind of not the campaign, but just a patrol or something like that. So I'm going to do the pilots. So yeah, we've got to roll on this table now. For our pilots, I've created my pilot list. And I picked some names. All right, you might see your name out there. I hope it's not offending you in any way. But there's a few that I've followed some of my videos, made some comments, and this, that, and the next thing. There's some names that are just not. They're just random names as well. Now, I did try. You know, I wanted to keep them to the letters. But Hal Schmidt, who has been commenting mostly on that, he's been making most of the comments recently. I thought, well, I can't leave Hal out. So, and his surname starts with an S, and for some reason there's no S. It just goes RTUW. So that S must be that it's used for other things, I think, and that's why I didn't want to have that. So, and there's two or three other S names that came into it as well. So yeah, that's my pilot list, and then so we've got to roll now on this table to see what we get. You can see a 1 to 3. We're gonna have 1 green pilot, 18 regular, 1 veteran, and no ace skill. But if we get 10 or 11 or 12, we're gonna get this ace skill and have a few more green pilots, but then a few more veterans. So So yeah, so it's just there's a D12. I think it's all D12 rolls on this. Sometimes you roll 2 dice though, and certain things. So here we go. Right, I don't like the way that's balancing. Right, that's an 8 though. Just because it's sloping there, it's sloping away at the side. It still means it was rolling, it was fine. So we got an 8, which is, it's that one, isn't it? 7 to 9. So we're going to have 3 green, 14 regular, and 3 veterans. Okay, well that's good, I think. I mean, it's good and then it's bad, I suppose. Right. So now I need to get them sorted out. So let me go and get our 20 pilots, actually. I've not really hunted them out yet. Right, so I've got the 20 pilots in a cup. So I'm going to just drag these out, and because we need 3 green and 3 veteran. Now green, we need, there's markers for green pilots, yeah. And the veteran has it on the actual pilot. So I'm going to draw the first green pilot. Now I don't know if you're meant to pick these yourself or not, but right. So we've got E. Looking at my pilot list here, should probably put that there as well. So we've got E. He's a green pilot. Every is green. Right. I need to mark him with that. Right, and then next one that's green is N. Yeah, see, the other side's got the veteran side on it. So N is Newman. He's green. And then finally W. We got Warren. He's green. Okay, and then 3 veterans. So we have P. Parsons. A. Ackland. Oh, Martin, you're a veteran. And then third one was M for Moffat. There we go. Right, so the rest are just going to be regular. Now, did I set these up? I think I just set them up now. Now, I don't know if I should. So they all go up there. 1, 2, 3. Like that's where you put your pilots, and then the ones that we're not using, I'm going to use all the names that are sort of, they might recognise their name if they happen to watch the video to start with, but it doesn't mean to get, say, if I do carry on the campaign, because I think if you do one patrol and you go to do the next one, I think you then get fatigued, I think it is. So, but I'll start off with these guys. I suppose I should spread them out. I mean, I was going to randomise where they were going to go, but maybe we should have at least the 3 veterans spread out along with the 3 greens, you know. Maybe do a veteran and a green and red, yellow and green. Something like that. I'll do that. Well, right. Well, what I'll do is I'll put A as red leader and E as red 3, and then I'll randomly select a regular. Is that going to work? Yeah, I think so. I said I was wanting to use all the guys. Nah, you know what? We should do it randomly, shouldn't we? Yeah, I was saying I was going to use the ones. No, I'll just do it randomly. And then I'll do the same here. I'll do the veteran and the next green one. And a regular. L. And then same again here. Veteran green. Stretching now. and we'll get regular there, and then the last 3 are obviously just going to be regulars. So okay, yeah, so it might mean that your name might not pop up on this part, but it's not a biggie, is it? Right, okay. And then the other regular pilots, I'm just going to leave off to the side. I'll maybe put them up the top there, actually. Right, I've just put this 2, the stacks of 2 there for the remaining 8 pilots that aren't used. So let's say we've got 12 in use, so 8. But I'm sure they'll come into... well, I think these are all going to be here for 1 patrol, aren't they? I think that's how it works, and then we might need to bring in. Well, I'm sure we're not going to. Sure, everybody's not going to survive, like, but especially the fact I don't really know what it is I'm doing. So, right, that's the pilot sorted out. Apart from, I should probably have taken note of that on that, shouldn't I? On the roster here. And what I need to do is. Right, so Ackland, he's a veteran, so I'm going to put a note along here with a V, I think. Yes. And then he's going to go fly Patrol 1, Chapter 1, right? So then I'll do that with the rest of them. What was the green? Of course, the green marker covers up the letter, doesn't it? E. Every, I think. There, so he's going to fly this one too. And he's going to be green, so I'll put a G in here. Right, might be getting a bit of shadow coming in there, but we can't deal with everything here, I'm afraid. Right, so I'll follow the rest of them that are going to fly in the first patrol, alright? Right, that's our starting roster then. So he's veteran, green, and all these ones that are shaded in are running the first patrol, and there is 12 of them there, so that's good. Right, moving on. Visibility. During setup, at the start of each patrol, roll a die to determine visibility. Use the starting visibility table on this page. If sun is present, roll another die to locate it on the intersection map. Place the sun marker in that location. Right, okay, so we're going to roll to see what the visibility is. Then if we have sun, which is one of these 2, we'll roll to see where the sun goes. So I'm going to move this. Oh, you know what, Grant? It's not going to change the... Right, you know what? I'm going to go elsewhere. I like the flatter surface, I think. Not sure why, but... Right, let's roll for... I got a 1, that's good then, I think. So clear sun is going to be the starting visibility. So there's 2, there's one that's got no sun or a big sun on it. So that's the one we're going to get. So we've got clear. So if I move that out of the way, that goes on there, saying it's clear. And then we're going to roll for the location. We get a 10. You see that? Yeah. 10 for that. So there's quite a lot of die rolling though. That's why some of them I'm going to just roll off camera rather than faff about with the camera. Right, 10 is going to be in the tail. So the sun location is the tail. And this is where it goes out in this map. All of these things are really kind of... A lot of this stuff was very confusing to me at first. And confusing before you start reading the rules, and then it's not so confusing. It's rather strange. I find it anyway. But like I say, in a good way, I'm hoping, and it's been showing me that it's good. I've been enjoying it. I've wanted to get started, and that's why I'm maybe rushing into a start here. So that was a 10. So tail. So there's the sun markers there, so it can either go there, and they're all high, obviously. So tail high sun, so that's what we've got. And being in the sun is obviously a good thing for you, because, well, other planes looking into the sun, I suppose, it's not so clever, is it? Right, escort. Right, I don't think we've set this up just yet though. When it is time to populate an intersection map with escort station markers, roll a die and find the result in the escort station's table. Do this in clear visibility the moment the raid marker is placed on the raid track, or in other visibility when you make contact. Well, we haven't made contact, but however, we are in clear visibility. The raid marker is not on the raid track yet, so we don't do this yet. But when the raid marker gets placed, or if the sun maybe goes away and we've got not clear visibility, then when we make contact, we'll come back to this chart and roll a die to see what gets the escort stuff. Right, and then finally, this is the bomber types, and again, we're not going to be setting this up just yet. So again, it's when it is time. When it is time to determine the type of bombers that populate the bomber formation area and their configuration of bomber tiles, roll a die and apply the results shown in the bomber type table. After determining the bomber type, roll a die to determine the formation the bombers are flying. Refer to the bomber configuration table below the bomber type table. The result is a diagram and the intersection of bomber type, column, and the number rolled row. Arrange the bomber tiles in the bomber formation area and the configuration shown in the diagram. No tile starts isolated, which means that they're always all joined up at the start. And as we'll find out, we want to unjoin them to make things go better for us. Yeah, so I'm kind of sort of hoping that it's maybe not going to be one of these big ones, just for a table space point of view, but I'm sure we'll work it out. You see they're all facing that way. I mean, you don't necessarily... I might find that it's easier to turn the book, to set them up like that way maybe, but which is fine. I can do it that way as well, as long as I'm setting them up in that configuration, and then the planes show the direction that they're facing, you know. So if I set them up that way and we're coming from there, we're coming from the flank. If I set them up that way, if we're coming from there, it's still from the flank, you know. It's not going to change anything. We'll see what we get and how space is and things. Yeah, I've got a wee bit more space up the top there, and yeah, I'm sure we'll be fine. Well, that's it. That wasn't as much as I thought, actually, in setting this up. Okay, shall I try and get a little bit started then? Why not, Grant? Okay. Well, where I'll start first is I'll just start with the sequence of play cards, I think. Now I probably would want to. Yeah, I know, but if you keep these down here, well, I can draw one. We can look at it. I want to keep them down here, out the way, because this is a space I'm going to be setting up some aircraft and things. Right, I'm going to draw the first card then. It's a raid vector sequence, and these aren't. You don't shuffle these. You set them in an order, and it's just to look at what's happening. So, now am I right here then? Am I at the right bit? Well, let's have a look at this and see. So this is a reveal. Raid vector sequence. Now it's got a great sequence of play though. Where's that? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of stuff. And I'll tell you, the quality is amazing as well. The components are really, really good. It's not a cheap game, for sure, but the components are great. They really are. Right, where are we? No, that's the wrong one. Where's the... Here it is, here. This is the one that's got all the icon results and whatever. But here's the full... Let me just take that out of the way a second. here's the full sequence of play, and it's really well done. Might look a bit daunting, but it is really well done once you start understanding what's what. So we're up at the raid vector sequence. I think I might just keep this here and we can draw the card on top. So this is the first step, and you can see that there's lines that will come off and then show you some things that might happen, and then lines that come off again. Like that's headed right down to the bomber cycle there, and then you go and do the bomber cycle. Or that one headed over to the dogfight, so you're in a dogfight, you go across there. And then, but this is the full sequence here, starting with that. I want to say that we're only going to do a little bit in that, and then we're mostly going to be in this area. I think you spend quite a bit of time in this area. But it looks like a lot, but it's, you know what, it's set up in sequence, and you just do it that way. So let's put this card down, and we'll keep that we'll keep the sequence of play there in the background as well, just to, so we can be double sure what we're doing. So if the raid marker is not yet in play, well, it's not. The raid marker starts on one of these things, I think, here, and it's a cylinder. I think it's that. I think it's this. I'll just leave it there just now. So it's not in play yet, and we get that. That might come in play by drawing these. Now these were all randomly placed as well, which I maybe didn't say, but I shuffled them up and drew them randomly. Yeah, well, let's carry on. Well, the raid marker is not in play, right? So we would reveal markers on the rightmost space off the track one at a time, and that's meaning the vector markers. If the raid marker is in play, reveal the vector markers in its space of the track one at a time. Oh, in its space, right? Okay. Right. I'm just going to, because these are probably going to be the toughest bits. Once I start fighting some 109s or 110s, if we're having a dogfight or a bomber fight, then things are a bit more comfortable for me there. Right, so I think it's probably best that I have a glance at the rulebook for some of these bits at first that I've not really done. So because this tells you what to do here, but it's brief, you know. It's on a card. It's a sequence of play. It's not meant to be the rule. So reading references page 43, which is great. So that's good that they're on these cards as well. So page 43. Raid vector sequence of play. Step 1, reveal. The procedure of this phase varies depending on the status of the raid marker. And I suppose I could bring the rulebook out here. The problem is that once I get the bomber set up in this area here, I'm not really going to have the space to be doing this. So, yeah. And these little sequences. Well, but mind you, once I've done this once or twice, then in fact, probably once I've done this once, this will suffice, won't it? That's the good thing about these. Right, let's read the rule anyway. If the raid marker is not in play, which is where we're at, we reveal the inbound vector markers in the rightmost space of the track with a vector marker in it. So there's two of them there. We're going to reveal these, right? If there is more than one vector marker in the space, which there's two, reveal all of them one at a time, applying each marker's effect before revealing the next marker. Most inbound markers have two effects. Apply the top first. Effects are explained in the icon results section of the rulebook, as well as on the player aid, which is, I think, on the back of the sequence of play. Which I'm not really sure. I think I would have liked to have... I'm being greedy. Would have liked to have had that on a separate, because sometimes you want the sequence of play open and you're flipping it over to look at the icons and whatever. But yeah, come on, you're being greedy, I think. So continue doing this until all markers in the space have been revealed. Then proceed to the fuel step, which is the next step on the sequence, and you can see it there. The fuel step's going to be next, right? Just glancing quickly, if the raid marker is in play, move the raid marker to the next space on the raid track. If on the inbound row, it moves to the left from coast towards deep. If on the turn space, it follows the arrow to the left. Yeah, I think we'll read this. I think we'll read this when it comes to it, because that's just getting confusing. Right, so... Right, okay, so raid markers not yet in play. Reveal markers in the rightmost space of the track one at a time. Right, sorry, I meant to away there for a moment or two. Right, okay, let's flip this over then. So, what is the top and the bottom? That's interesting. Well, that's the raid marker, isn't it? I don't know what the top and the bottom is. Is it the iron cross at the top, maybe? That's how they're set out on the thing, so I think that's maybe how the order it needs to be. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the book here, and it sets them out like that. So surely that is the top. Yeah, because it definitely states that you need to do them in that order. Apply the top first. Apply the top first. Effects explain the icon results section in the rulebook, as well as in Play Raid 52. Well, let's say the Play Raid's on the back of this, I think. Unless it's not. There is another Play Raid. Let me see if it's got that icon then. That's something to do with the sun then, isn't it? Yeah, it is in here. Well, I can flip this over just now. There's the results there. So there's the one there, turn point. But I have to assume that's the top one, because if you flip it over the way, yeah, it is, right? So we're going to roll a die. Even, we're going to shift the sun clockwise. If odd, shift counterclockwise. If no sun, visibility is now clear and the sun's position is blah blah blah. Well, there is sun, so we're going to roll a die. Well, let's quickly do that then. Is even, so we're going to shift the sun clockwise. Let me just see page 52. Yeah, it tells you all the icon results in here as well. I mean, I don't need to look at that for this one. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, isn't it? So we're going to shift the sun clockwise. Right, okay. So as we can see, clockwise, boom, boom, boom. It's going to go from there to there, I think, isn't it? Yeah, that's an X1 clockwise. So it's going to go to port high sun. There. Okay. Well, actually, we're sort of jumping the gun there, because this card says... Yeah, this is the thing where I might mix and match things at first until we get understanding. So we've revealed the top, the first one. We apply the top effect in the marker, then the bottom effect. Apply all events on one marker before revealing the next one. So we got that, so it says go to card 7. So it must actually have these on them all. So if I go to card 7, that basically just tells us what we've done. I mean, this is the thing, Grant. If you're going to play with the cards, and just play with the cards and don't look at the other things. It says after the effects of that, go back to card 1. It's good, isn't it? It's really good. Just do I really need to be... I don't know. If I'm going to just look at that and maybe then look at the icon and the player aid, then it kind of defeats the purpose. Okay. Well, we've done that. Right, and then we've got this symbol here, which says go to card 5A. And as we can glance here, we can see this is the raid marker. So, but let's get 5A. We said we were going to play with the cards anyway, so. And then we come back to this card again, don't we? And then it says go to card 9. Yeah, there's a bit of jumping about, isn't there? But that's fine. So here, it's part 1. Yeah, I've got 5A and then 5B. Yeah, well, if you're going to use the cards, Grant. That's it. So if the raid marker is not yet in play, place the raid marker in the vector marker space on the raid track. So I'm assuming it goes here. Because that's the vector marker that we're resolving just now, and we're going to have to look at the other one as well, I think. Yeah, I think so. I guess I'm just... yeah, let's start with this. So, I've put that on there, and then it says if visibility is clear, which it is. Clear. Sun. Roll a die to place escort station markers and escort stations on the interception map. Apply the result indicated in the situation manual, then go back to card 1. Okay, so that means we get the situation manual back out, and we're going to place the escort station markers. Yeah, so that's back to the situation manual. This is chapter 1, skirmishing over the channel. So when it is time to populate the interception map with escort station markers, roll a die and find the result in the escort station table. Do this in clear visibility the moment the raid marker is placed in the raid track. Right. Then the OR doesn't come into it, because we're clear, we've just placed the raid marker on the track. We're going to roll dice here. I'm just going to come down here and roll it. Let's see what we get. Got a 10. So what we got? 10, oh, that's good or bad. 10 says trailing 109 heavy. So, well, the bad bit is I think it's heavy. I suppose the good bit is there's not 2 of them. Or even that one, look at that. Well, I think the lower number the worse there. Oh no, look. 12, no escort, that would have been good. So, trailing 109 heavy. So now we come out here and we put this heavy 109 marker in the trailing station box, which is here. What's that? Trailing station, heavy 109s. Right. Okay, good. Right, I've not got an awful lot of time left, but I'd like to kind of finish this as a part, but I'm going down to see how... Going down to support England in our quarter-final game against Switzerland. So, see how they get on there. However, let's see if I can just finish this part first. So that was visibility is clear. So now we're going to go back to card 1. So card 1 should be there. So I'm just going to put that back, put them back. And then that's just applied the 2 effects. If all markers in the space have been revealed, go to card 9. Well, no. We've got another one to reveal though, Grant, haven't we? Is that right? I'm not sure where these are meant to go when they're being revealed. I'll set it off to the side just now. I think maybe they could just go back in the out of the way, couldn't they? Yeah, I think I go on reviewing this one as well though, don't I? What page was that? 43. Yeah, I think we just read that, really. You continue doing this until all markers of space have been revealed, then proceed to the fuel step. Yeah, and although the raid marker appeared just now, I don't look at this. I don't think. Raid marker is in play, reveal the vector markers in its space of the track, one at a time. Yeah, no. I think that goes there, and then we reveal this, and then the next time we do this, that's going to do something. Did I put that in the right space? Should that be in there, maybe? That says coast. I don't want that one. Maybe this should be in here. I'm not sure, because I think the next time, I think they need to be adjacent to these, don't they? I'll leave it there a sec. Let's see if I can find the answer to that. So here's the next one. So we're going to flip it to make sure that's at the top. Well, it just says weather. That could be bad then. So weather, go to card 8. I'm going to write down, I'll just pile them all on top there. So weather, visibility changes to haze. Oh dear. If the sun marker is on the intersection map, it remains there. If visibility is haze already, it is now clouds. Remove the sun marker. No, right, so that's going to move from that clear to haze. Is that right? Visibility changes to haze. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, really. So that's that then done. There's nothing else on that one. Just set that aside there. I'll leave them in the order they were drawn, just in case. And then we go back to card 1 again. However, that's just going to move on now, I think. So if all markers in the space have been revealed, go to card 9, fuel step. Right. So, and basically, that is us finished with that step of the raid vector sequence. Alright, hang on, I think this is a sequence. These are the different phases, and in between the phases are steps, I think. So we're in phase 2 of the raid vector sequence. I think that might be the terminology. So it's fuel. It says fuel. So let's just go by the card. Each section spends 1 fuel. Shift our fuel cubes 1 space to the right on the fuel track. Simple. Right, so all these go 1 down. Yeah, okay. And this represents our squadron of 2 flights of 4 squadron 4 I'm getting 4 sections. Yeah, I think the whole thing's a squadron. We've got A flight and B flight. A flight comprises of these 2 sections, and B flight's these 2 sections, and then within a section you've got individual fighters. Right, I think it's like that. Right, is there any more of the fuel bit then? We move the fuel thing down. Vapour, if a fuel marker is already in the last space of the track, it can't shift to the right. All of its pilots return to base. Right, no, none of that. So that's it. We just do that. So I think that's a fuel step over. So we should be now looking at the contact step. Let's just flip the next card over. And indeed it is contact. So, and you can see here we've got contact yes, no. If it's no, we're going to go to the next phase vector. If it's yes, we're just going to skip that vector and go to the interception sequence. So 57 minutes. Yeah, can I just maybe get through this a little bit, or is there's maybe a bit in this actually. If the raid marker is not yet on the raid track, skip this step. Well, it is. Okay, so if the raid marker is on the raid track, you may perform contact if squadron is in the same or adjacent zone to the raid marker. Right, hang on. First of all, I need to know if that's in the right spot. And it is in the same zone. We're in the coast, and it's in the coast. Oh, actually, both these are coast. No, this one's got a wee bailout parachute here. So, I mean, maybe this is where this should start. This could be good, actually. That means we might be able to, I don't know, have a bash at contact right away. I mind you, I think it's not so much contact is difficult. Contact is fine. It's actually intercepting the actual... It's the interception part, I think. Is it not? Contact... What is the word I'm looking for? It's not contact, I think it's just intercept. No, I'll find out. Right, hang on, let me see if I can make sure I've got that raid thing in the right place. Well, it says, this is on page 53, raid, no raid marker. If the raid marker is not yet in play, place the raid marker in the vector marker space on the raid track. Well, this is the raid track. There's the vector marker space, because that's where these vector markers were. So I think it is in the right bit. If it's not, if the raid marker is already on the raid track, bombers release ordnance, move the raid marker along the curving arrow to the turn space. The curving arrow to the turn space. Oh, it's going to go up here to here. Oops, maybe not showing you that. Right, I think it's going to go up there. But that's still coast, Grant. And then the next one up's middle. Right, so yeah, that's fine. I think that's fine. I think we're okay there. So coming back to the card, it says, if the raid marker's on the track, you may perform contact if squadron is in the same or adjacent zone. Well, we're in the same zone. We're in coast. Yeah, and there it tells you there, that's the zone. We're in coast and he's in coast. So we're in the same zone. So contact is automatic. Roll a die on one of the contact tables to determine the squadron's starting position on the interception map. 44, 45. Okay. Yeah, I'm hunting about for contact tables, wondering where they are, and they're up here in this corner of the player aid, the sequence of play player aid. So, so there's two different ones in the same zone and in adjacent zone. So we are in the same zone. So that same zone and adjacent zone. Right. It says to use the sun option on a roll. What does it say down the bottom there? Modifiers. -1 if clouds, +1 if high. Well, we are not high. And there's no clouds. What is this thing about sun? 10 or more. Yeah, okay. So if we roll a 10 or more, we can start in any position in the sun. Oh, that would be good then. So I think we want that. But the modifiers aren't going to apply. Remember, we're not using this. This is if an adjacent. So we are in the same zone. So yeah, I'm just going to roll this dice. Hang on. Let's try to sort things about here. Yeah, we're not at high altitude. We started at low altitude. It told us that, didn't it? Right, I'm going to roll dice. Let's do that then, Jack. So what we get here? That's not a 3. Generally, I think low rolls are not. Oh well, I already said that 10 is what we wanted. 10, 11, or 12 would be good. So that is, there's no modifier. So 3 is, oh dear, 3 or less. So I'm guessing that's the worst. So it says tail low. That looks like we can spend the fuel to go tail high or flank low. Okay, and this is where you need to know some things, I think. So, is it worth spending this fuel? Well, I'll tell you where we need to look, and it's this chart here, I think. Well, to be honest, it's both sides of this chart. This is the intercept escort chart table. And then on the other side of that, you've got the intercept bombers. So if we look at the escort ones first, what did I say we were going to be tail low, or we could be tail high or flank low? So tail low first is here, right? Now, if you were wanting to try and intercept any escorts, and remember, we've got a heavy 109, so I think it's going to be 109. So if we were low, 109s, now they're in the trailing station, so that's right along there for a 9. So we would need to roll a 9 or higher to Where's it? I'm going to tail low. Yeah, tail. So tail's not in the sun either. The sun's the port. Right. I think if you're low, would you not have to be in the high anyway to get the sun benefit? I'm assuming you would. I wouldn't, even if it was in the port. If I was in the port low right now, if I was port low, I don't think I benefit from the sun, do I? I need to be at high. Because yeah, I mean it's all about them looking into the sun. You know, if you're up high, then they're looking into the sun. I think that's what's right. Try to represent anyway. Sounds pretty logical. So low there. So trailing it would be a 9. If we spent the fuel and went tail high up to here, 109s. Oh, that's a huge difference. Then we only need a 5. So that's well worth maybe spending that fuel then, because this is tough. If we go on an escort mission and we don't do it, and it's pretty bad, I think. So what was the other one that could move it to? Tail high or flank low? So what about flank low then? That would be here, 109s. See, that's a 9 as well. So I think we should spend the fuel and go tail high then. Let's do that. Yeah, just looking across at the bomber side. This is the bombers one. So if we were tail low, first of all, we'd have to spend another fuel. And then you pick the highest number. It's 109s, but the only escort station is in trailing, so it'd be a 9. That'd be a 9. If we went tail high, that would then be an 8. So it's not that much a difference there, is it? And then the flank one, see, that's when it would benefit us, wouldn't it? If we went flank low, it's only going to be a 3 to go after the bombers. So yeah, so one's doing well for the escort. Well, let's do the. I mean, even that dropped that to an 8, so it's slightly better. Right, so I'm going to spend the 1 fuel, and we're going to go tail low. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look like you get an awful lot of fuel. So, now let's do it then. Let's do it. Alright, so we'll spend 1 fuel to change that result to tail low. And I think that now brings this. I think this is what happens. This is coming off, and we're going tail high, aren't we? So I need one of the blue blocks. So any block that's like that means it's at low, but you've got these little blocks you just basically put underneath to say that it's at high altitude, which is pretty smart, I think. Although I dare say that stuff might have been done elsewhere. Maybe in his previous game, actually. This is the sort of... It was skies above the Reich, innit? Skies over the Reich first, so I guess there's some more games. Okay, so... Yeah, contact was automatic anyway, so we've done that. Right, card 10B is just telling us if we were in an adjacent zone. That's basically a continuation of that. So it's basically that chart there, or the chart for adjacent. So then we read on. Move your squadron block to the interception map at position indicated on the contact table. So we contacted, we're at tail high because we changed it, we spent the fuel. And then we go to card 12. Also, all lost contact fighters must immediately return to base. Place escort station markers on the map. Place bomber tiles in the bomber formation area. But do we do all this now then as well? I think we do. So is card 12... I think card 12 is just going to be the start of the interception sequence. It is indeed. Yeah. So we're going to skip card 11, because that's basically the vector part, and that would be if we didn't make contacts, which it says contacts automatic. But I think that's maybe if we don't choose to contact, maybe. It was optional, I think, wasn't it? So, well, we've nothing lost contact. We've placed escort station markers on the map. We've done that. We haven't, however, placed the bomber tiles in the bomber formation area. But we defer this if the visibility is clouds. Well, the visibility is not clouds, so we can do this right away. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to end this part, because that's a good bit to stop, because we're going to be then on the interception sequence. Now, this is where I'm going to have to move this. Well, first of all, we need the situation manual back. We need to find out what bombers it is we're getting. So, right, well, you can see the types there, so we're going to roll that first. See what type we get. Roll the 2. Oh, that's Stukas. That means that's good. I think they're easier to take down, aren't they? So we've got Stukas, and then we're going to select one of these formations. Ugh, yuck. Right, okay. Yeah, it's just a table space thing, really, you know. Right, an 8. So it's going to be the middle one there. So 6 tiles. Well, that one only had 5. So it's 6 tiles. I suppose the most is, well, there's one that's got 8. But they're clunked together. It depends how they're spaced out. So that's the one we're doing with Stukas. So I need 6 Stuka tiles. Right, okay, so these are the 6 tiles with Stukas. So I'm going to... see, I'm thinking it might be better to turn this around, I think, from my point of view, space-wise. So I'm going to basically turn the book that way and set it up like that, right? So we've got one up the top, because I can, well, I suppose I need to leave a little space at the top. It would help if I was showing you that, I suppose. I can move things up a little bit as well. So that's... Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one, sorry. It's the 6 tiles one. It's that one. Yeah, I was looking at the wrong one. Does it benefit me doing it the other way, maybe? And I think I'd prefer it like that. And I don't think it matters how I'm setting it up, because it's got the... You know, it's got the... Right, that goes like that. That goes like that. And these will all be joined up, and they're all considered... What's the word? Contiguous. They're all joined together. So anything that's on them at the moment, anything that's on these tiles is on... You count them all up, because they're all joined together. We'll see how that goes in a minute. Right, that'll do, and see, that might allow me just to get... It might allow me to open up the book down here and still get a look at that. That's what I'm trying to achieve, I guess. I could go up a wee bit more there. Yeah, it depends. If I want to come head on up here, then I've got some issues, but... Okay, well is that set up properly? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and they're all joined together. Yeah, that's good. So that's it. I think we can just... And that was the third thing there. Place bomber tiles in the bomber formation area, but defer this if visibility is clouds. So if visibility wasn't clouds, and then, well, it told us already that to go to card 12. That was card 11 vector. So we're going to go to card 12, which is, it moves us on to the interception sequence, and that's the orders phase. And that's what we're looking at next. That's what we'll start when we come back. And just glancing at the sequence of play there. That was us completed. We didn't do the vector because we got contact. Yes, brings us down the interception sequence. So the first phase of that is orders. And we're going to assign orders. And yeah, we'll get going. Right, so I'm hoping to get back. I mean, there is a couple of games of football on I'd like to watch. But I'm hoping to get back and have another shot at that before the end of the night. Might have had a few beers though, so might be one of those. But definitely quite keen on getting this going, and I'm glad I started that because I'm feeling okay about it. Yeah, I'm going to struggle with some things, but I think up to now, I think that's went okay. I think it has. I mean, okay, maybe not an awful lot happened. Right, I'll get away for now so I can copy this across before I have to run down and watch football. And I'll be back later. Cheers.